This video will focus on two frightening stalker true stories.
The year is 1974, and the air in bountiful Utah is thick with unease. On the surface, it appears to be just another quiet town, but beneath its serene facade, a chilling terror lurks, preying upon its unsuspecting inhabitants. In the heart of this horror story is me, a young girl working as the box office attendant at the local drive-in theater. As dusk gives way to darkness, I find myself isolated in the booth, the only light coming from the neon signs. My companions are the whispers of the wind and the distant hum of cars. Unknown to me, someone, a predator, watches from the shadows. This unnerving tale takes a darker turn on the nights I work. The car, a silent harbinger of doom, starts making its presence felt in my neighborhood, parking ominously at the top of the street. Its repeated appearances sow seeds of fear in my heart. I share my concerns with my family, my parents and brother. While their worry mirrors mine, we are at a loss for action. "What are you gonna do?" becomes a whispered mantra of despair in our home, echoing our helplessness. The situation escalates, becoming a pattern too conspicuous to ignore. Driven by a mix of fear and determination, my brother and his friend decide to take matters into their own hands. They resolve to watch for the car and confront its occupant, a decision that brings us closer to the heart of darkness. One eerie night, their vigilance pays off. They spot a man, a shadow among shadows, making his way toward our house with a stealth that chills the blood. He finds a hiding spot behind a tall bush next to my parents' porch, a vantage point for unspeakable intentions. Their shout, "Hey you!" slices through the night, a challenge to the darkness. But the figure melts away, disappearing into the night with a swiftness that leaves more questions than answers. This encounter marks a turning point in our haunting tale. My family, now more alarmed than ever, turns to the authorities, desperate for protection against the growing terror. Yet, even as we huddle together in search of safety, the shadow of our stalker looms large, and a constant reminder of our vulnerability. Then, as abruptly as they began, the visits stop. This brief respite shatters with the news of a harrowing crime that rocks our community. A young girl, taken and killed, her life extinguished by the very evil that stalked me. In the aftermath, the truth emerges from the shadows, revealing our tormentor's identity, Ted Bundy, a name synonymous with horror and depravity. The realization sends chills down my spine, filling me with a profound sense of gratitude mixed with terror. I am left to ponder my fate, why I was spared from the clutches of such a predator. Standing before the bush that once concealed his presence, I am reminded of life's fragility and the thin line between safety and the abyss. In this moment of reflection, I offer a silent prayer of thanks, grateful to be among the fortunate ones who escaped the grasp of true evil.
So this happened to me about 4 years ago. At the time I was 20, during a tattoo convention in Toronto. I was still an apprentice tattoo artist then, and this was my first time working at convention. SO was super excited, but also a bit underprepared. There were 6 of us going from the studio I worked in, 3 guys and us 3 girls. We booked separate hotel rooms, and the guys booked theirs early, smart. Whereas I booked the room for the girls last minute, because I didn't realize then that the rooms would be all booked up near the convention center. Needless to say, there were almost no affordable rooms left, and I had a mini panic before I found a shitty Super 8 in nearby town with a room left. I asked if any of the other girls minded, and they were totally fine with it, as we wouldn't be hanging out at the hotel much anyways. Fast forward to us arriving at the hotel. It's literally inside a strip mall and is kind of sketchy, but hey, we rolled with it. We checked in, unpacked, and headed down to the convention center to set up our supplies. Afterwards, a bunch of other tattooists asked us all out for drinks, so all 6 of us said sure and met up at a bar. We had a great night, and everyone was having a blast. I really was not used to drinking at all, and it was getting later and later. Being my first convention, I didn't want to be tired the next day. So I asked if anyone else wanted to leave. They were all still partying and didn't want to go, and I didn't want to ruin their time, so I let them know I was heading back to the hotel by myself, and I called an Uber. When I got there, it was completely empty. I walked through the mall and it was silent and dark. I made it to the hotel entrance and walked past the check-in desk. Dark. No one was there. I was a bit creeped out and was kind of looking around. I took the elevator to my floor and walked past the communal breakfast area. This is where shit started to happen. The breakfast room was dark, but I could see a silhouette of a man sitting in there alone. When he saw me, he stood up and I could hear his footsteps walking behind me. I tried to stay calm and said to myself, he's probably just heading to his own room. You're freaking out for no reason just because it's late. But as I continued down the halls trying to find my room, I decided for whatever reason to turn around, which led to the most disgusting sight I've ever seen. The doors for each room dipped in the wall slightly, and as I turned around, I shit you not, the man behind me quick dipped into one of the doorways, then peered at me from behind the wall. We made direct eye contact, and I swear my heart fell into my stomach, turned back around and sped up, just wanting to get back to my room and lock the door. I was almost there. I was at a T intersection of Hallway, and there was a fire extinguisher behind glass in front of me, and I could fucking see him behind me again in the reflection. I turned around again, and I saw him again dip into someone else's doorway and peek at me. At that point, I absolutely lost it. I started running and booked it at the last few meters to my room around the corner. I swiped my key card so fast, I'm surprised one didn't fumble and drop it. Then I slammed the door shut and locked the door. Thank God I turned a corner because he didn't see which room was mine. I looked through the peephole in the door and watched him pass the hall for a few minutes before walking away. I immediately went to the hotel room phone to try to call security, but no one was answering. So then I called my coworkers who were still at the bar and told them what happened. They came right away and helped me find an employee. I guess they have next to no staff overnight and no security at all. The employee we did find tried to look for the guy, but he was long gone. He told me he'd check the cameras, but I never heard if anything came from it. I don't know what would have happened if that guy caught me, but I'm glad I never found out.
If you have enjoyed these frightening stalker true stories, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel Jump Scare Tales for more scary stories.